Nigel, we've spoken all through the summer about how much impact COVID has had on everybody, general life, but it's not all been negative for the club. The furlough scheme in particular, that's something that gets a tick.
Yeah, I think the furlough scheme, fair play to the government, has been an absolute lifesaver for us. Just looking at the numbers before I came in, between its starting and the end of May, we've probably had over £300,000 of cash that's come into the club in that period. And obviously there's June and July, and it keeps on going into September, October time. So it's been really, really important to us, and we're really grateful for the support that came from the government. So that's permanent cash coming in to offset the permanent income that we've lost.
And that doesn't have to be paid back, does it? Some people are wondering if we have to pay anything back over a period of time.
No, the furlough money is essentially a grant to help replace the income that we've lost in that period.
Effectively, it's protected jobs.
Absolutely, it's allowed the club to keep all the staff on board, to pay all its bills on time, to keep paying the creditors, the small businesses around Carlisle that all link into us. So it's helped keep everything going, which is the aim of the scheme, and I think it's been very successful. The issues then come around as it tails off, which we know about, and there's lots of concerns about will the income come back to clubs and to other businesses when the furlough scheme goes away. And obviously there's people who've fallen through the cracks, which is really difficult for them. But I mean, they're government issues, I suppose.
You mentioned the bills and the overheads. Again, has that reduced in any way that's actually helped the club through what has effectively been a massive lockdown? We've had no income in at all.
Yeah, well, the kind of approach that I took right from the beginning, and you'll know as well as anybody, we had lots of discussions during February, even going back about where this was going, was to try and be patient on the long-term decision making, things that would last beyond a couple of months and past the COVID period, and not jump in and do things that had long-term ramifications, but at the same time be really quick and decisive on the things in the short term. So what we decided really early on was that we would furlough everybody who we possibly could within the club to get the costs down, to try and protect jobs. So we went into lockdown really early. We closed the shop, if you remember. We stopped doing online sales. That was all part of that plan to try and really batten down the hatches. It's meant that we have cut our fixed overheads really significantly by not operating the stadium, and we've got the support on the variable costs of the wages from the furlough scheme. So that's really kind of worked well together. We've also had cash flow support that's come from the government in terms of things like the VAT. So our VAT quarter was the end of March, so we had a payment to make in April, and that related to the Jared Branthwaite sale. So we got cash off Everton for Jared in January that we had to pay over to HMRC in April, and there's a significant sum on the transfer fee. Because in football, when you do a sale, even if you don't get all the transfer fee up front, and everybody knows that drips in over a number of years, you get all the VAT up front. So we got 100% of the VAT on the whole deal in January, so we had to pay that. Now, because the VAT was deferred to the end of March next year, that means we haven't had to pay that cash over. So that's, again, a real cash flow gain that we've had, but it's only temporary. We've got to pay that back in a year's time, so we might be sat gaining the benefit, but we've got a big cheque to write out in March 2021.